Unfortunately, I have to say I have almost completely forgotten it. You too, huh?
Well, it's interesting you say that because I felt like, oh, by the way, I won't even show it on the screen. We're doing a movie with Boris Karloff from 1933 called The Ghoul, and I wish I could tell you what it's about, but it's about some guy from the Egyptologist that decides to come back from the dead and mayhem ensues. That's really how I
Yeah.
describe it. But no, I watched this, and 10 minutes after I watched it, I was like, what the hell did I just watch? I don't even know what the plot
Exactly.
was.
Exactly. That's it's really funny. That's really funny that you should say that because I had exactly the same problem with it. It's like it came and went, and I was like,
Didn't you
wait a
feel like it
minute.
was like the engine was trying to start and it just never did? Like,
Yeah, it's just like they're in the tunnel and the going down to the.
and then
Oh,
characters kept coming in. I'm like, how many people are in this? And why did he do this? They didn't really just did they explain why he decided to do this? And his little buddy
no.
from
Well,
Egypt, I thought his little buddy from Egypt would say, oh well, he used to like this, so that's probably why he's doing this.
there was something about it. There was something about him, about Boris Karloff, the character of the archaeologist, like he was. Because it's funny, his motivation. That was exactly the problem that I
What
had.
was it?
What was his motivation? Was to live forever, but he seemed like such a miserable.
They didn't explain why. Maybe he just hated people and he wanted to come back and kill them and not have to go to jail for it because he was already dead.
He just seemed.
No, but he did an
Seemed like
amazing job playing this role. I got to say that he was really good in this, but I don't know what the he was doing.
he really was. But absolutely, and the thing is absolutely everybody else in this was just so terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't up with the best of.
No.
But you know what? And this, I'm
Well, I
going to
thought
go.
some of them were decent, actually. I got to say that some of them were okay.
Yeah, but not that.
For British actors in the 50s, or the
Yeah,
30s, I mean. For
yeah,
British actors in
yeah.
the 30s.
For British actors, and I think that this was done with a British troupe.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I said to myself,
Shall I give this another go?
and I said, absolutely not. No. That's how I talk to myself.
yeah,
But anyway.
uh, I had the same thing. I just thought, well, I don't know why he wants to come back so bad, and and it comes down to this: is you have to say to yourself, how about reason, or
Yeah.
how about you looking like you're a decent enough man to want to do it. You look like he was pissed off about everything, which is what Boris Karloff does best.
But I know what they should. I mean, the point is too is you also not only need to have a motivation, but people need to somehow like something about you for them to
Yes,
be
yeah,
interested in your story. I mean,
exactly. And you know what? Therein lies the rub with the story, because in the Mummy, uh, with Boris Karloff, uh, for one thing, there was that smoking hot woman in it.
yeah,
And the funny thing, I think that there was something about this that they wanted him to create like the same feeling that he had in the Mummy, which
yeah.
he did, but the rest of the story doesn't follow with it at all.
Well, this was actually the anti-mummy. I was actually that's one thing I liked about this is it wasn't the mummy. It wasn't even the same plot or near it at
Oh
all.
yeah, yeah, no, it wasn't. But at the same time, it was Boris Karloff getting a chance to kind of go around and drag people around.
Well, so the good qualities of this, I thought it looked good. Like the way they shot it was nice.
It did.
But that's all I got to say. That's all I have
Yeah,
to say about that.
yeah, and
Like even the scene behind me with the lighting and the trees and everything and
oh
the
no,
yeah.
it was very well done. And the now this brings up something, because we've been watching a lot of these older films, and I think that a lot of these places were sets that were used again and again and again, because I've been starting to see you know, pieces of them, you know, many times, and I can't see that the budget for these B films would be good enough to make a lot of these really big sets, right?
Yeah, well, I thought they reused the set for Dracula and Frankenstein like repeatedly, like back in the
Right.
30s.
No, absolutely, and absolutely they did. They just dressed it a little bit different. Um, the, however, it's a funny thing about that is I just watched a film called The Curse of Dracula, and it is so bad. But they actually they combine. They actually, by the end of it, they had actually brought Frankenstein. It was a Universal film, so they actually had Frankenstein in it, and Lon Chaney, and
Oh, really?
and
Was that later on, like in the 60s or 70s, or
no, huh? It was actually
when
in
they were older?
1945. 1945. And the thing is so they were kind of like going on another wave of bringing all these characters on, but they didn't have the guy who directed Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein and also did The Invisible Man. He was a production designer, and you can tell in his films, and I wish I could pull up his name just
right?
off.
I can't think of it.
I can't think of it, but he had a genius sense of proportion, a genius sense of where to put the camera. He put cameras. He kind of like, as soon as he got into his laboratory, it's like he did these weird angles and Dutch angles, and he had the great equipment, and it was so well designed, and every shot was really well designed, and then I watched a film that didn't have that. It sucked. But back to this one. This one was still done very professionally. It looked really good. And you wonder.
I don't know why it took me so long to find it, but it's James Whale, obviously.
James Whale, of course. Oh God, James Whale. I'm telling you, James Whale had an awful lot to do with the stuff.
Yeah.
With how you see the monsters, the monsters, you know, like even Nostradamus, or even Nosferatu, the original Nosferatu, was not. It was a great design job, but the camera angles and stuff were kind of pretty weak, and it was carried completely by the original actor.
Well, that was so early though. That was like
I know
way early.
But that actor, boy, it was a silent film, but that actor by himself could he could just scare the
Beep.
out of it.
Yeah, I had a roommate like him.
James Whale comes down and just really, you know, we owe a great debt to that guy, man, because his image and the stuff that he saw and the stuff that Boris Karloff did here in these films, like the Ghoul and so forth. We saw these films. My generation saw these films again and again and again, and then we came up with the second golden age of horror films, you know, and we were just working with these same techniques. The only difference that we had was we had color. Yeah, I have color.
And your cameras were a little bit lighter.
Red.
Weren't your cameras just a little bit lighter too, like a little bit?
Oh yeah, a little bit, but you know what? Here's the big difference now. Is the difference between the difference from their cameras to our cameras was huge, but the difference from our cameras to the modern cameras, there's no comparison. You know?
Right, yeah.
You know, if you think that you could take like an 80-pound Aeroflex or Panavision camera, a 35 millimeter Panavision camera, and hook it on. Go ahead, hook it onto the what are those flying things, right?
Right, yeah.
Drone. Hook it onto a drone and and watch it sink.
Even a modern tripod would probably crumble.
It really would.
Oh no, I was thinking about when you were talking about production designers directing and things like that. I was like, I'm thinking about like it's also really important to have a good production designer on something. Like if you look at like Nightmare on Elm Street 3, for example, probably would have not been so awesome without the awesome production design. Not that I'm trying to butter anybody up, but it's true. And if you look at some,
Anybody
also,
that I know,
if you also look at like actors who became directors, they don't have that eye, and they don't necessarily hire the right person to do the production design. If you know what I'm saying?
yeah, exactly.
Like I'm thinking of Ron Howard, who's kind of he's more of a character guy. Like he's all about character.
It is true. And in fact, his films. It's funny because he has a thing where he teaches filmmaking, and he says things like filmmaking is actually pretty easy if you follow these rules. And I think to myself, that's the problem with Ron Howard films. He is the ultimate work-a-day director. You know, I mean, you don't get brilliant from him. You just get pretty decent communication. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The thing that you got to do is you got to know all the rules, and then on your best days, go out to break them.
You need to know how to hold them, know how to fold them, and know when to run. I don't know where that came from.
Thank you, Kenny Rogers.
No, but yeah, he's all about characters. So like some of his movies, if you look at his sets, there's nothing exciting about anything he does. Really.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But all of his films are I mean, just you have him come in if you know.
Well, Apollo 13 had to be exact, or we need to make it look like something.
So what did they say? It's like when you make a car lot and you call it miracles, and because if it runs great, it's a miracle.
Well, there's a used car salesman here that I not one of my favorites in this area, because I've had some experiences with him business wise. His slogan is, "We put dreams in driveways."
See?
It's a dream if it actually starts.
That's right. No, if it starts, you're dreaming. You know, we have stayed awfully far afield of the film The Ghoul.
We're talking about used car salesmen. Well, so yeah, this.
But you know what? It brought it on itself.
This is what The Ghoul was. It was very disjointed, and he couldn't follow it. And I don't know if there was a point or a story of why he was doing something, and I didn't care because he was anyway.
Right? Yeah, that's the thing. Is he was a complete jerk, and they didn't have a really good-looking lead,
no.
A good-looking actress involved. So screw it. For The Ghoul, I'm giving this one a really low rating. I'm going to go say I want a 1.5, and it would be 1, except for Boris Karloff is amazing. He's amazing in whatever he does.
I agree, actually. But I do like the lighting, so maybe I don't know. The lighting for me was brilliant.
Could be a 1.7?
1.7, yes. And I wish these guys would stop talking on either side of me. It's really annoying.
Yeah, it's talk about in one ear and out the other.
Well, I was trying to figure out which one was evil.
Yeah, right. I don't know. In that group, it could be all of them, you know? So, where am I?
Is that already starting?
It is. What can I
God.
say? You know, I do my best. I really do.
I'm gonna have to be with the beginning of every episode. Hey, you used to work in Hollywood. You were a production designer. Look up your resume.
I swear to God. You know what? On one hand, I know that IMDb does a terrible job of collecting resumes, and at the same time, I can say that while 10 minutes later, I'll be looking up IMDb to see what the fuck I did. What the hell?
Well, you have stuff that was uncredited, so that's probably confusing.
I know. I have a lot of stuff that's uncredited. An awful lot of stuff. I mean, it's a lot of the stuff that
You probably don't want to be credited for.
Everything that I did in the 2000s was uncredited. But yeah, there's a lot of lost stuff. ask any old, and the thing is it's a technology that's new enough, and we're old enough to just not give. It's
I
like,
get that. Yeah.
Because I get this from young guys. Go, well, you should go back in and fix that, and I go, really?
Yeah, I noticed that at film festivals or film, you always hear that.
Why,
the younger guys are the ones that
that
are obsessed with IMDb, and the older guys just like, I don't know if it's on there or not. I don't care.
Could be.
Well, I think or some people say, yeah, well, I was a production designer on that, but they put me down as the janitor. I don't give a whatever.
Oh, that exact thing happened.
I know, that's why I brought it up.
Sitting Nancy, you bastard. You just wanted me to feel. You wanted me to feel. No! I don't want to feel.
I remember that story. That's brutal too.
This particular episode is completely off the rails.
Oh no, we're gonna crash! No, we're gonna crash!
Do the monitor shake.
Oh man.
Okay, enough of this crap.
I agree.